Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGig webinar series, our endeavor to impart techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is New Trends in Master Data Management. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Prashant Chandramohan, Technical Solution Architect at IBM India Software Labs. Prashanta is a technical solution architect in IBM India Software Labs with extensive experience in implementation of IBM master data management solutions. He has worked with several large enterprise customers around the globe in past 8 years and has delivered successful MDM-powered solutions. His expertise is in deep understanding of multiple MDM products under InfoSphere brand. He specializes in architecting MDM solutions using IBM MDM Server, Initiate Master Data Service, IBM Information Server Suite, and IBM Change Data Capture. Prashant's experience spans across retail, financial, insurance, telecommunication, healthcare, and automotive industries. Prashanta has been a thought leader and a mentor in the area of MDM and a creator of www.mdmgeek.com, where he shares his insights on implementing successful MDM projects. His work has been published in a number of magazines including Hub Designs, Data Quality Pro, IBM Developer Works, and IBM Software Services Portal. He holds a master's degree from National Institute of Technology, Surat Kal, India, and has more than 8 years of overall IT experience. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Prashanta.
All right. Thank you, Mohini, for that introduction. Let me share the screen first with all of you before I start this. Okay. So I hope you can see my screen. Mohini, you can see my screen, right?
Are you able to see your screen?
Okay. Perfect. So good afternoon, all of you, and thank you for taking time in attending this webinar. Master Data Management, or MDM, is one of the most talked about topic in the area of information management. In the last decade or so, MDM has proved to be must-have technology for every organization. Whether you are a retailer, a bank, insurance company, a healthcare provider, or a giant manufacturing company, you will need MDM to help you run the business smoothly. And in this webinar, I'll share you information on what is currently trending in master data management world. Right. So the agenda on the slide 2, which we'll be covering today, is what listed here. The session should take about 35 to 40 minutes for me to present, and then we will follow with question and answer session. Depending on the allocated time left at the end of this session, I can also take some of the question offline if there is a need. So my contact information will be shared at the end of this presentation. Keeping in mind the diverse set of audience we have today, I'll be covering an introductory session also on the MDM, where I will explain what is master data, what is master data management system, and what organizational challenges MDM help us resolve. We will then discuss briefly about the evolution of MDM system before we actually get into our main topic for today, the trending things in MDM. On slide 4, we have the main thing which we'll try to understand today are the first 2 questions, right? So what is master data and why is it important? Master data is the key information required for operation of any business. Think about it as the core information related to the customers of your organization. It can be different products your company sells, the employees of your company, for example, or the location where all these different entities are located. All these constitute as master data. Master data also extends to the reference data, such as country codes, states, province codes, type of the organization classification, industry codes, for example, and different product types your company may be selling. often represented as code types and value pairs. These reference attributes are either a common set used across organizations and countries sometimes, or the ones which a company may use internally. They all constitute as reference data, and they are part of the master data which we talk about. The important point to note about master data is that it is often non-transactional in nature. In other words, you wouldn't classify customers' ATM transaction, for example, as master data, but you do take customers' address, phone numbers, names, different variations of names, date of birth, the privacy preferences the customer has, the employment information, for example, tax identification numbers, etc. They all constitute as master data. Now, master data is important because it's at the heart of every business transaction. It's the lifeblood of every application which exists in your company. Since every organization runs with an idea of a product and selling that product to what we call customers, an accurate understanding of these two core master data entities is a very crucial thing. What also is important are the entities that are linked to these customer and products, right? For example, the contract which the customer has with the company, the services which are offered by the organization, the location information where customer resides, right? All these are very key important pieces which constitute as master data. All these entities are crucial because they are needed for effective running of your business. Now that we understand what master data is, let's look at what master data management systems are. Master data management is defined as the technology, tools, and processes required in creating and maintaining a consistent list of master data entities. An important thing about this list is that this has to be accurate so everyone in your company can use it, right? So why this requirement of such a centralized system comes in? The challenge most of companies have is that the core information we call as master data is often scattered throughout their enterprise systems. For example, the customer data and the product an organization is selling are all spread across multiple applications, which make it harder to maintain. Also, one will not be able to get a true picture of what this information looks like at any given point in time without a system like MDM. Master data management system basically goes and decouples this information and hosts that information in a single repository. This obviously allows us to have a single view of the master data, which is accurate and up to date. What this also helps us is in centralizing this information so we can control its quality and improve the quality of it, and also manage the changes effectively in one place. As you can see in this diagram, data warehouse, ERP, e-business app, they all have different variations of the same customer, Mr. Jones, right? And one setup, MDM brings all this information about Mr. Jones in one place, so we can look at it as one single place with all the information integrated, which is accurate. For example, his name, risk rating, preferences, contact information, addresses, etc. are all in one single place now. MDM also provides you with tools and technologies needed for data standardization and cleansing. This is to make sure your data is represented consistently. For example, all addresses which belong to the customer are broken down into a street number, street name, city, state, zip code, which is kind of consistent, represented at least here in the US, right? In other words, basically you are creating a consistent view of all these different entities of the customer. The other very important aspect of MDM when it comes to customer data is the ability to match records to identify duplicated customer profiles. And this is a powerful feature of MDM, and that brings in a lot of value for many organizations. This slide shows you some of the top signs why you need an MDM solution. More often than not, need for MDM arises because of the bad data quality or data integrity issues your companies have. If your organization is full of spreadsheet jockeys and there's multiple databases in your organization storing same master data, you need MDM basically, right? Low ownership, for example, is another strong candidate for going to MDM. And if your management has major concerns about quality of the data and there is no auditing functionality in your existing systems, so you know who changed what and when they changed this data, if you don't have control over those kind of things, you definitely need MDM, right? And there are similarly many other reasons and there are similarly many other reasons which basically force you to go into MDM, which are listed here. We just discussed how MDM creates a single version of the truth about core master information in few slides before. What this means is all your business requirements where trusted information is required can now rely on MDM. Some of such requirements are your customer onboarding process, customer account management process, the new product introduction flow when it comes to product information management, and the order fulfillment process. And more importantly, leverage these data assets in your business process will help you in remaining compliant with various federal requirements which countries have. It also allows you to simplify the reporting process. That's because now you don't have to go to 10 different systems keeping this data in a legacy format, and you don't need to understand their data model and architecture, which, believe me, is more complex and time. This one is a very good depiction of what an end-to-end master data management brings to the table. In the middle of this cycle, you have MDM tools and technologies. These tools are there to help you in enrichment, search, quality control, and stewardship of your master data entities. The entities are secured by a solid security layer, which is a huge plus. The tools also help you in hierarchical management of master data, which is one of the fundamental requirements of MDM. Once the system is in place, all your applications such as customer care, marketing, sales, financial planning system, billing system, etc. can leverage this data. This helps in applications function smoothly because now they have better quality data which they can rely on. On the company-wide level, what this means is that the organization now has maximum customer satisfaction, which leads to increased revenue opportunities, better planning, optimized business, and obviously a high return on investment. Slide 9 talks about some of the information integrity facts and figures. So the major one is by Data Warehouse Institute, or TDWI as we call it. It's a premier educational institute for business intelligence and data warehousing. They estimate that the poor data quality costs about $611 billion to the companies. And let me tell you, that's a huge amount. Gartner, a leading technology research advisory company, says data quality is the main reason for failure of CRM projects. And IDC, which is International Data Corporation, says, it's also another research company, by the way, and they say data quality is a huge challenge next only to the budget constraints. Standards Group is a Boston-based company which tells the same thing. And so are the many data quality experts and the MDM experts all around the globe. And by the way, I have a small link here which you probably would like to bookmark because that's my Twitter list which I've created, which kind of helps you get information such as this. So small self-promotion there. I'm sorry about that. Now, slide 10 talks about business values of MDM. I will tell you a few real-life examples here. One of the insurance companies where we implemented MDM was able to do 4 important things. One, they were able to effectively identify, service, and upsell to their customers. Secondly, they lowered cost of business. significantly. 3, they enhance their customer service as they now have to just look at one system instead of looking at multiple lines of business data, which is spread across all the systems all around their enterprise. And 4, they were able to manage customers' data at an enterprise-wide level, which is a significant thing for them. Let's look at the retail side. A new product introduction is a huge challenge for retailers, even today, right? With MDM, retailers are able to streamline their entire NPI process. They shave the cost and overhead associated with this rather tedious process and eliminate errors due to some things as simple as inaccurate mailing addresses, right? And they also are able to do an effective targeted selling. And on the manufacturing industry side, 2 main challenges exist, right? There are huge challenges when it comes to understanding their buyers and sellers who are key part of their business. There is a lot of difficulty in looking at business from a global perspective. So with MDM, these manufacturers will be able to develop new buying, trading, and selling strategies based on an accurate view of their business dealings, which is all across the world. Above all, MDM helps these organizations capture information such as privacy preferences and use it effectively to remain compliant with the law. By capturing risk-related information, MDM also helps them proactively uncover an action against the fraud. Now that we have understood what MDM is and how important it is, let's look into evolution of this technology. This is a section, it's kind of a precursor to our next important topic about emerging trends in MDM. Let's take a look at the MDM's evolution. MDM solutions began to emerge in the 1990s and were based on either customer data integration, or CDI as we know it, or product information management, or PIM systems. During this period, the MDM space was mostly dominated by niche players. And in some cases, organizations were custom building their own CDI and PIM solutions. As these projects and initiatives began to prove their value in terms of creating single view of customer and product data, a real market for MDM began to develop in 2005. Many larger vendors entered the space and began acquiring the small companies. But as recently as a couple of years before from now, vendors have continued to evolve their MDM applications to support multiple domains. Now we are seeing more domains being added to the mix than traditional ones, which we will see in a bit. There are industry-specific domains as well, which have come up. This all translates into need for more adaptive MDM requirements. What that means is customers are looking for MDM solutions that adapt to their changing business needs. They are looking to expand their MDM initiatives by integrating more data, more domains, and gaining more insight in that way. And here is where the further evolution of MDM happened or is happening. MDM embodies master data along with content, analytics, and other domains. When combined with all these different things together, we get a truly complete and rich set of information. MDM needs to be viewed and executed as a long-term strategy closely tied with an enterprise information management. With integration to content, analytics, and other types of information, MDM provides the key pieces needed to establish a rich foundation for master data. This is the direction we see many of our clients taking today as they approach MDM. Now that brings us to our topic for today, which is emerging trends in MDM. And we'll talk about a number of them right here. One of the important trends we have seen in the last couple of years is the ability to support multiple domains in MDM system. Now, this is not very fairly new as such, but this has been there for a while. When I say multi-domain MDM, what I mean is the ability to manage multiple types of master data such as product, party, account, location, as well as the relationship among these domains. For example, a customer has purchased a product using a particular account they have and will be billed and marketed to a particular location. That kind of shows the relationship between multiple domains, right? So the customer is linked to an account and also linked to a location where he is billed at, right? What this allows is two things. One, an ability to use master data in multiple ways, and two, ability to feed operational and analytical systems to capture useful insights. So in IBM, we call it as multiform MDM, and it's a strategy to support multiple domains and multiple uses of master data. Based on our market-leading portfolio of MDM products at IBM, we are uniquely positioned to be able to deliver on this multiform MDM strategy before any other vendors in the market. So that's a huge plus for us. Our next trend is the integration of MDM with business process management. To understand this trend, let's first look at what BPM is, and then understand how BPM coupled with MDM can bring more value to your organization. Business process management, or BPM as we call it, has been referred to as the holistic management approach. What it allows is the ability to align organizations' business processes with the wants and needs of the client. So let me give you an example here so it kind of makes it clear. Consider you are a call center representative using your web-based application. You are helping your customer to return 2 items, and these 2 items are purchased by your customer separately with 2 different forms of payments, and they were also bought weeks apart, say, right? And believe me, this kind of thing happens pretty often here when you're in holiday season and you're in the U.S. and you're buying stuff for your friends and family, right? What a BPM application would do is walk you through the steps of the exchange. Rules are built into the system, so there's no need to call for a manager's consultation or approval, because every information you need and every system you need to connect to carry out this transaction is right there in front of you, right? It's right there in the application, which is there for you. So that's what BPM brings to the table. And when we talk about BPM, we talk about continuous improvement of processes, and we link it to the phrase process optimization. So it basically makes how much of a complex cycles or transactions or different things you need to do in the system, it kind of helps you. There are rules built in there, and even if you need to connect to different systems, it helps you carry out those transactions easily, right? And that's the power of the business process management. Now here is a slide which shows you a side-by-side comparison of what MDM and BPM functionalities are, right, in short. While MDM takes your business-critical silo data spread across your systems in the organization and consolidates them, BPM brings together your silo processes into one single place. And also it provides a consistent visibility into those processes. MDM is about improving quality of your data, while BPM is about having a platform which helps you improve departmental processes. MDM provides better visibility into your master data, while BPM provides a process improvement. Right? That's kind of very nicely put up here in this slide. Now the obvious reasoning is how cool it would be if we can bring these 2 technologies together, right? Let's take an example, which again helps us simplify this notion of the integration, right? Consider you are building an MDM solution that centralizes all of your customer information from different legacy systems of the enterprise in a single master data hub, right? So that's what you do with MDM. One of the core functions required here is new customer introduction. Assume this function can be invoked as a business service from all your source systems, because they need to send the data which they have currently into your MDM system first of all, right? So you build this single customer hub. Now, we have seen in MDM implementation, it's not enough to just accept new records coming in from the source system. What you really want is an add or update customer function. So a source system can say, to the hub. I'm about to create a new customer record for John Jones, who resides in 123 Main Street, New York, and has a phone number, right, which is phone number XYZ, right? Now, instead of blindly creating that new record in the hub, you want to be able to do a search in the MDM hub and find if that record already exists, right? Now, that's where MDM's powerful features come into play. They help you search the customer with the different combination of attributes, its address, the phone numbers, the tax IDs, the name, and it kind of matches and finds out whether that customer already exists in the system, right? It does a very good job at that. MDM is a powerful product in that way when it comes to matching data and finding out if there are duplicate information. If the customer record exists, what you need to do is pass back that customer number, effectively telling that source system not to create a new record after all, but to instead update the existing customer because that customer already exists in the system. BPM makes this whole process very straightforward. Using BPM, you can build this function as a service, so any application interested in sending customer data to the central MDM hub can use it, and that to consistently and across the organization. And that's pretty cool. In this slide, number 19, we have shown some of the challenges customers face when MDM and BPM are not working in synchronization. Some of the major challenges with MDM implementation are listed on the left side. There is this big challenge of getting business owners' trust in master data. And then there is this tendency to look at MDM as an IT issue as against a business problem. Similarly, if you look at the right-hand side of the chart, the business process, which you define in an organization, often suffers from data quality issues. And that's because you don't have a single source of master data established yet, right? Business process, which point to poor data quality, means poor decision making, isn't it? So also, without MDM, processes you define now have to deal with data conflicts which exist across silo systems, which is a big pain in the neck, right, for the organization. So basically, these are the kind of listed out challenges which will exist if you don't have MDM and BPM work together. Although they address certain problems together, individually, on an overall side, each one kind of need the other. With MDM and BPM together, now you can manage the creation, governance, and delivery usage of master data across the organization. Now that MDM provides the single trusted 360-degree view of your master data entities. Your critical business processes can run smoothly, right? And BPM, with its process governance capabilities, allows you to manage changes effectively too. BPM workflows allow easier collaboration of the business users and also provides you greater visibility into business operations. So that's what happens when you get these two things together, right? We will actually see some of the benefits later in the slides, so I will just skip this slide for now. So now this screen is self-explanatory, kind of. As you can see, an accurate and correct master data entities coupled with transactional processes will help you create a better working business process flow. The items you see on the green are your master data entities, and the one in blue are your core processes for an organization. When sandwiched together, they make a perfect recipe for the business process, such as an efficient bank account opening process, which checks to make sure you're dealing with an existing customer, not a new one, right? Similarly, the product cross-sell function, which will make sure you are not sending mortgage offer to a customer who already wants a home loan with you, with your bank, right? So those are pretty cool things to do, because if you can find out what you're doing with your customer beforehand, and whether even if a valid customer or he's an existing customer, those are the great things and will help you a lot. Let's take an example of banking customer onboarding process. With BPM and MDM working together, you can see the process of adding a customer has multiple steps choreographed here. In this workflow, the important step is to verify if the customer in question already exists in your system. So you will be able to do this effectively only because you have a well-established MDM system which provides accurate information about all the customers organization has in one single place. Right? Based on the search you did in MDM, you can either decide to add a new record or update an existing customer in case that customer in question already is there in the bank. Same way, now by the way, I'm taking a bank example just because that's easy for me to explain. It can be an insurance company or a retail or any other industry customer, okay? Same way, if you see in the flow, the product which the customer already owns can be looked up, thus making the entire process run smooth, and at the same time help bank provide best service to the customer. So you wouldn't want to offer the same product if the customer already owns it. So MDM, once you look at MDM using this whole process flow mechanism, you will be able to figure out what all the different products that particular customer owns with your bank. Let's see the process defined using the combination of MDM and BPM, how they help a bank officer. Let's assume we have a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, walk into the bank. When Mr. Jones provides his name and address, our bank officer is able to quickly look up their information on MDM using the business process defined for his role. Having realized Mr. Jones is an existing customer and the address provided has a typo in it, bank officer now can easily quickly fix that and resolve the issue because it's all choreographed in there, right? So if there's an address problem, then go to this flow, or if there's a name problem, go in this flow and fix it, right? So all those things are choreographed in his application. The bank officer also, as you see, he's able to verify different names of Mr. Jones and what is provided during the account status check process as against account opening process. And he can also mark B. Jones as an alternative name for the same customer in the MDM system. Also, the bank officer knows the complete portfolio of Mr. Jones and Mrs. Jones now that they are in the bank, and he also realizes, looking at MDM, that they are high net worth customers. So he is now presented with an option to cross-sell with retirement, pension, or insurance products to the couple. And that, my friend, is exactly what we need for banks, and an efficient way to manage data, and also a process which helps them find increase their revenue, right? Our trend number 3 is social MDM. This fairly new trend is about connecting internal customer data stored in MDM system with their external data on the social platforms. Linking MDM hub with social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, you just name it, right? What all the social network platforms we have. Connecting this two systems creates tremendous opportunity. As we know and have used these social networks, they contain a truckload of valuable data. And this data is about how they feel for the products and how our customers feel about the products and what brands are they using today, right? Let's assume we have Mr. Jones again, who tweets a negative review about the bank's flagship product, right? It would be useful for that bank to know who Mr. Jones really is and whether it can remedy the situation before it goes worse, right? And that's where MDM connection with social media comes into play. The convergence of MDM and social networking is kind of inevitable. Now, it's not because we need to jump on the social networking bandwagon to keep MDM interesting and relevant, but because it makes the perfect sense. As an organization, social MDM is about taking advantage of digital footprints of customers and, more importantly, the networks. That's this huge network. Every one of us have 300 friends on Facebook. I mean, whether we know them personally or not, but we have them, right? So there's a huge network out there. What's even better is using social MDM, listening to voices of your true customers on social media becomes extremely easy, right? What this creates is a huge opportunity to delight the customers by actually providing customized experiences, for example. And also the product offerings, you provide them product offerings proactively because you know exactly what they need them. Because they told in their Facebook status, I'm looking for so-and-so product to be gifted to my fiance, for example. So it kind of helps you, social media, to understand your customer because they are vocal there. They are telling what they want to do, etc. in social media more openly than going to the actual organization and telling them, hey, I want to buy this product from you, right? So there's a huge opportunity there. Let's look into some of the more benefits social MDM brings in. The best part of social MDM is that the value it can bring into organizations and also to the customers is almost limitless. The ability to understand likes and dislikes of the customers in real time is as good as one can ask for. In theory, one can obtain almost any data they need via social media and use it for their advantage. Now, the Gartner is a research analyst, as you know, it says social MDM comes in handy in two ways, according to Gartner, right? So they say the sentiment analysis, which is the ability to find out what people are telling about your products and understand people's sentiments for your product is what they call a sentiment analysis. And also, social MDM helps in network analysis, which is find out who are all my customers in real life are, right? And also find them whom they are linked to, which is whom they know, right? And see if we can make them influencers of our product, right? So that's network analysis. And traditionally, existing network influences is a very powerful thing. As we all know, it's like a word of mouth, right? That's what we know it as, and that's a powerful stuff. When someone who knows the product and goes and tells all his 200 friends that, hey, this is a cool product I got and I really love it, there's a good chance that those other 200 people will at least consider buying it, if not go actually buy it, right? And some of them will, definitely. So the word of mouth is a great thing, and that's what we call a network influence. And that comes very handy when it comes to organizations selling products, if they can leverage that information. The other important benefit of social MDM is the customer service. The new term which has come into play in the last year or so is the system of engagement. What this means is that the organizations now can engage their true customers in a conversation on social media to figure out how well the product or service they are offering is perceived. Above all, knowing the customers well, understanding their issues, arguments and concerns, and doing something proactively before even the customer comes to you to ask for the help will help the company to reduce the churn significantly, right? So just imagine we have a problem with our phone service provider, and before even we go to them and tell them, they understand from what we have been telling in our social media platforms about the service, and they quickly do something about it. And they in turn contact back and tell you, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we understand that you had this problem, so we will try to help you resolve it, or we already resolved this issue for you. That's huge plus, right? And I would be very happy if my phone provider does that. Now, social media MDM comes with certain challenges, of course, and there are a number of them. Dealing with social media profiles, which are often duplicated or wrong and incomplete, is a complex problem, right? Adding to that are the privacy and data protection laws. These laws vary among countries, and if you are an organization doing business globally, you have more things to worry about. And definitely, the biggest challenge is the volume and complexity of social data. with its potential to potentially explosive combination of almost like inaccuracies and stuff like that. It needs the right tools and technologies to get the juice out, right? Often, it's also a new territory for most organizations. I mean, social analytics and social media, looking into social media data and finding out the data they need, information they need out of it is a fairly new thing, and many organizations are not even there yet, right? So it's a huge challenge. That brings us to our next trend, number 4, MDM and its integration with big data. In the last 1 year or so, we are increasingly seeing the market asking about relationship between MDM and the big data. I tend to treat big data as just another source of information which can feed to MDM, and also vice versa, right? MDM can feed back to big data. The big data technology can feed insight into MDM, and the reverse is true also, as I said. That is, MDM in turn can feed quality master data information back to big data systems. The most common use case for big data is the social media analytics. In other words, the social MDM we just talked about, right? That needs a huge favor from big data technology to work efficiently, right? Organizations which employ big data technology would be able to unearth potentially new customers, of course, right? That's the whole point of going and analyzing your data. You need to find out more customers. But here is where the interesting twist happens. When they find new customers, which is the big data finds the new customers for you by analyzing social media, the big data integration with MDM will help them figure out whether those new customers are actually new customers or the existing customers of the bank or of the insurance company, right? So MDM providing master definition of customers, household relationships, product and hierarchy management will also prove kind of a critical thing for big data analytics. In a converse way, customers who find, first build their 360-degree view of customer data using MDM can analyze those customer data using big data technologies, right? Use all the customers we have today and find out what they are in real life, right? That's the best example of it. So this helps in enriching the customer information further, right? Either way of either you're going from big data to MDM or MDM to big data, it kind of helps in either side of it to enrich the customer information you have. So clearly there's kind of bi-directional relationship between MDM, as I said. Big data technology can benefit from MDM and as a starting point for analysis, and it can also help augment or feed new insights and facts into the MDM system. The only gotcha, though, is this new source we are talking about, which is a big data source, is dependent on external data platforms. And the main challenge here is it requires newer and complex tools and technologies, right? Which we most of us started 10 years ago or whatever, do not really process, right? We need to learn those skills. So that brings us to the trend number 5, which is MDM on cloud. Although the analysts and research firms say cloud computing will play a key role in the future of MDM, at this point, the majority of organizations are highly skeptical about this prospect. The prospect of housing their valuable master data about the customers, their products, suppliers, etc., on a public cloud, for obvious reason, which is security. Since master data is often sensitive information, a public cloud usage at this point is strict no-no for most companies, right? And keeping this in mind, what makes more sense for the organization is to go for cloud-based data quality offerings instead. For example, use of data matching, tools hosted on the cloud makes a perfect sense, right? And so is the reference data provided on the cloud. So you want to check what are the country lists available as of today, because there's just a country which was recently added to the whole country list, right? So making those kind of information available on the cloud makes it a lot of sense, because then you can hook your systems, MDM systems hosted on premises with these reference data hosted on the cloud to make sure you're up to date, right? So that's a pretty cool thing to do. And all of these, for time being only, right? Till we actually feel comfortable about using public cloud for everything, hosting your MDM application as well as hosting your data there, because at some point we will probably feel comfortable about security of our cloud software and stuff like that. Because just remember, this is evolving field for not just MDM, with the cloud as a whole. When you talk about hosting anything on the cloud today, there's a major concern that there's the security issues. What if my data is breached? What if someone breaks into my data and stuff like that? So, so till then, we can use cloud for more of hosted services like matching and reference data and stuff like that, which makes more sense. So it's kind of interesting to note here, which the point mentioned here is the predictions is that there might be around 10% of MDM solutions hosted on the cloud by 2015, and that's by Gartner again. So that's pretty interesting. So that brings us kind of an end to the presentation which I wanted to deliver. So I took about I guess around 45 to 50 minutes, which is cool, which is what I wanted to target for. So as I said, my contact information here, which you can reach me on, my email ID, my website, and the Twitter handle if you want to follow me on Twitter. Feel free to ask any questions over there, but at this point, if you have any questions too, I can take those questions. So I see there's a question here, so I'll try to, it's a lengthy question, so I want to kind of understand what this is by Amrit Urkude. So he asked me, we are a valve manufacturer. We have a lot of combination of material classification types, and based on customer requirement, we create the materials and bill of material. We have limited standard products and a lot of customized tailor-made products which cause a lot of duplication in master and subsequent long MIS. We need the solution to fix this issue. How MDM will help us? We need MDM. We need MDM to create the material codes and descriptions which flows the various business processes, material codification, and BOMs. How BOM will be created where customer maintains 20. Okay, so as I understand this question, so you are talking about implementing MDM in a manufacturing space, right? So we did implement MDM earlier in manufacturing industries, which I was not directly part of, but I do have a little bit of experience working with them. What I would like to do, Amrit, is if you don't mind, I would love to answer your question offline, because it's a rather lengthy answer as well as lengthy question to understand for me here in this platform. So please use my email ID, which is mentioned here, which is trafchan@in.ibm.com. Shoot me an email with exactly what you're looking for, and I will be able to answer your question. And that way, they can kind of keep that, exactly what you're looking for and answer that question as well. And also, frankly, I need to really look at exactly what we did in manufacturing side of the projects, which I may have to take some assistance from my team. So thanks. So I see that's the only question I see, I guess, unless Mohini, you have any other way to find out any other questions for us? Okay, Bhavik Shah has an answer, has a question as well. and so is Sasidhar. Okay, there are more questions. Cool. So let me answer in the order here. So Siva Balan asked, hi PC, wanted to check if you have some updates on new trends in standard reference kits. For example, SAP has its address kits for Europe, which helps validate a party vendor customer address up to the street and door number. Are there any trends where such information is sold generically? Siva, that's a very good question, but I don't think I have an answer for that right now, because the address lookup is fairly linked with the data quality side of MDM, as you know it. So there are data quality softwares. We of course have our data quality softwares stacked on InfoSphere brand. Probably I should be able to get back to you on that. And now that I know exactly who you are, and Siva is the client I worked with, so he's a great person to work with. So I will get back to you on that. I definitely note this question here, and I will get back to you on that. Saravanan asked me, I'm from wind industry, and we have been collecting wind turbine data across India. It is necessary to adopt MDM in our organization. A very interesting question. So I really, wind industry is pretty new, and I don't think we have an implementation for them at all so far. But I just want to understand, Saravanan, about how exactly or what data exactly you deal with. Is it anything to do with customer data or product information, or the parts of the of your, there are multiple parts to be managed, which is a great thing which we can do in MDM. So I want to understand again a bit more about that. If you can share a little bit more information about exactly what you do in wind industry, I can be able to help you with that. Radhika asked me, can you elaborate on data integration and data quality issue resolution using MDM? That's a great question, Radhika, there. So when we talk about MDM in integration with data quality and data cleansing tools, what we actually mean is a few things, right? One is making sure your data is represented consistently. So you need a data quality tool for that. For example, you want to consistently represent all your customer names. In US here, we have data standardization tools, and primarily we use MDM or InfoSphere brand products, which are data stage and quality stage for that, right? So what they help us is standardize every US name, for example, right? And that's a great thing to do, and we often do that. And then there is data, standardization for addresses, phone numbers, etc., right? Which is consistently representing all your data in a normal format. When it comes to data quality issues, often when we do MDM implementations, we bring in data from different sources, and we also do, which I'm a strong recommender for this, is the profiling of the source data, which gives you a very good insight about what the data actually is, whether it is clean or how bad. Usually it's bad, of course. So how bad it is, right? It tells you how bad it is. For example, it will tell you, hey, there are out of your 7 million customers, there are 1 million of them having a date of birth which is defaulted to 1/1/1901, right? Now you don't want to bring the data like that to MDM, because in MDM we talk about keeping clean data, right? There's no point having a million of you, which is somewhere around 20% of your data or 15% of your data wrong, right? So you use data quality tools, or first you use the data profiling tools to figure out this information, and then you do something about it. If you don't know, you just blank them out, or find a way to figure those data out. So that's another data quality aspect there, right? Similarly, you have spaces in the names, and what else? What else? I'm not getting into it. The tax IDs, for example, tax IDs which are defaulted to 0, which believe me happens very often, right? Now when people, for example, the bankers go for finding customers, they probably don't know the tax IDs. They default them to 0, which is a very common thing. So those are the kind of issues we talk about, and we can find those issues and fix them and get that data into MDM. And above all, the best thing about MDM is doing what we call as data matching, right? So that's your, again, process for removing bad data, which is you're now removing duplicated customer information and showing it as a single customer if it's really one customer having multiple accounts with you, right? So I hope that answers your question, Radhika. We have a question from Vinod Reddy. He asked me, "Hi Prashant, please suggest sites to get more information on MDM." That's a great question. I really hope I can answer or type here what I can give you at this point. But Vinod, do me a favor. If you can send me an email again with your email ID, from your email ID, I can answer with some of the suggestions which I have. I often blog and write articles on Hub Design Magazine or Data Quality Pro and stuff like that. So they are great assets which I have come across. There's also the TDWI sites, the Gartner site, if you are a member of, which is great source of information when it comes to MDM. As I said, do me a favor, just send me an email with your email ID, and I will reply to that with all the information you're looking for. Okay. And thanks for your interest in knowing more about MDM. Great stuff. Safidar asked me, what are the technologies and challenges in this kind of environment? So the technologies MDM or IBM uses is, there are multiple products here, right? So in IBM we have MDM server, which is purely a J2EE based application, but at the same time, just knowing J2EE isn't the final thing to learn MDM quickly. What you also need to know is configuration management, for example, because the product has so many configurable options. It's a very flexible product. It literally can do whatever you want. You can tweak every part of the product. So that basically means there are configuration options, property file changes. You need to know them. So knowing, although it's a J2EE based applications, and knowing J2EE, Java, EJBs help you to a great extent. What you also need to know is you need to spend time on the product to learn it, right? And similarly, we have the earlier we acquired Initiate software, which is basically another vendor which we acquired. Is a great product and is purely based out of configuration, right? And you obviously need to know the database technologies about DB2, Oracle, or famous ones. Again, feel free to email me and stuff like that, and I'll be more than happy to help you with if what you're looking for. The last question was from Bhavik Shah, I guess. Oh, there are more questions. When we talk about social MDM, we talk about using customer profile in the social arena to understand the behavior, right? Now, with social MDM about storing social patterns in MDM, if yes, what could constitute as a master data? Isn't it more of an analysis? Great question, Bhavik. That's an excellent question. So I was hoping someone will ask me questions on social MDM, because I was writing an article on that for one of the hub designs, actually it is, and I was doing a lot of search and stuff on this, because social MDM, again, as I said, it's fairly new and no one has probably, not many have implemented it yet, but the social MDM is there, right? To answer your question, what I try to picture it as storing a connection from your MDM system into a social network profile of your customer, right? For example, your Bhaviksha, you have your record in the MDM, so we can create some kind of an extension or some kind of an attribute we can come up with an MDM which can point to your social profile, right? So that connection is established, right? Now, MDM itself can't or is not a good enough application to go and do the analysis. So that has to be left out to someone else, right? For example, a big data technology or some kind of big insight technology which will go and do that work, right? But the connection is built, right? So I think that will be a very powerful information itself, right? Because now, for example, a customer dashboard, right? Customer service dashboard, which your customer service representative opens up when you call to ask a service. So if you keep this information, which is basically your link to the social profile, which basically turns out to be your UID for the Facebook, for example, and also your authentication, so we can fetch some information about you, right? Provided you give us access, right? So if you can save that information, your customer sales the customer service guy you call, when he opens up his dashboard, along with your information which he fetches from MDM, he can also in real time fetch your data from the Facebook profile, for example, and see what you're telling about the organization, right? So that's how I picture it at this point. And there's definitely different variations to it, and we can, as this area grows, we can see how it all works out, right? So that's a great question. Ayan Chattopadhyay asked me how to maintain an item master at the application platform level when you receive different item masters from different clients, and clients want to use their own item code, not what you have at the platform level. Okay, let me understand this question a little bit. Okay, so Ian, I have to defer that question for now, because I think I need more information on exactly what you're looking for. So I definitely understand you're asking a question related to retail industry, but I just need to have a little bit more information on this. So feel free to send me an email, and I will be glad to help you with this. I already see the emails pouring into my inbox, so that's awesome. So that's exactly what I was looking for. Raju Polkam asked me, how is the security of the MDM can be done as in the case of a normal database on any special case scenario to be considered? Security of MDM, at least the IBM MDM, which I know very well, is actually handled in multiple places, right? You have the security at the MDM application layer, and also a security built into the system at the application level, application server level. For example, WebSphere, where you deploy your MDM on, right? So it follows the pretty much standard security which you have for any J2E application, right? That's one layer, and then also you have, of course, the security at the database layer, which is basically saying whether a particular transaction can hit a particular database column and the record and stuff like that, which is basically comes down to I keep forgetting this word because we don't really implement very often the rules of visibility and stuff like that. So what rules of visibility help you do is basically help you either do allow a person look into only a portion of the data of a customer. For example, you want to avoid him looking at the tax IDs. You can do that using rules of visibility, right? Similarly, there are different things. You can authenticate the user at the LDAP level if you integrate LDAP with the configure LDAP at the WebSphere level and stuff like that. So there are a bunch of security layers built in, and more often and every time. And when you go anywhere from QA or production layer, of course, you have the security built in for customers, using MDM. I hope that answers your question, Raju. If it's not, just reach me out over the email. Primal Tiku asks me, you spoke about BPM and MDM work together. Going forward, will BPM applications have a master data application linked with them? I understand a lot of BPM application does not speak with them. That's an excellent question, and I'm so glad you asked me that question, because I kind of missed that point when I was talking about this thing in my presentation. So the BPM and MDM integration is coming in a big way, and we, of course, on this IBM are ahead of the game on this, and our recent release of MDM has an integration piece built into it, and we are selling it big time. So I suggest you go to IBM site and look for the newer version of MDM, and the first sheet which you open up on InfoSphere MDM server will give you enough information about how we are doing the BPF integration with MDM, right? So that information is readily available for you. So yes, we do have it, and we sell it big time, and it's all there, right? Is MDM and database administration or DB management same? Shilpa asked me this question. And also, I think she has another question. If so, can MDM be applied to all type of database? So the MDM is an application, and database is a database management system. So you understand that. I think I know that. So so if you're asking a question if database administration is the same as MDM administration, that's probably my answer will be no to that, because MDM is an application, right? You use the data to host there, and then it does a lot of things like, matching and doing standardization. It provides you services. The MDM server we have provides around 800 different services, which is very cool. It allows you to fetch the information about customers in real time. It allows you to hook into the different web application, for example, so you can fetch that information and show it on a dashboard and stuff like that. So the database administration and MDM administration is kind of different, right? So I presume the way this question has come up, I think you never really looked into the MDM before. So let me help you there if that makes it's easier for you. So just reach me out on the email so I can help you with exactly what MDM is versus what database administration is, right? So they are two different things in a way. I think I missed one of the questions from Havik before, which I think I should answer. So how are big data and MDM related exactly? So as I said, Havik, so the big data and MDM is a fairly new trend, and I don't think there's only a countable number of customers, I think, for doing this. So big data and MDM, from my point of view, as I said, is a kind of two-way communication. MDM can benefit from big data because big data can go out there, run an analysis on your, for example, social media, and tell you the information you need to know, right? And also the other way around, which is big data is technology is implemented in your organization. It can rely on MDM to get who are the customers you have currently, and go and do an analysis on those customers to understand them more, right? It's kind of a two-way communication, I look at it as. And again, as I said, this is a fairly new trend. And it's almost, implemented in only few maybe customer bases, and I don't really have an exposure to that so much as I would hope for. So let's see how this trend grows up in next maybe in a year or two, and I'm pretty sure we will have a lot of information about this than what we have now, right? I think there's another question, which is MDM is data management and SOA is the service related. How both are interrelated? So I wrote a blog about MDM and SOA is a perfect marriage, right? So visit my website, which I have here, which is kind of answers this question. But I will tell you what exactly I meant. So MDM, when we say we are actually creating a system which has all the customer information of your bank, for example. And now having all that information in one place is just not enough, right? You need to make sure that information is available to everyone in your bank, right? So the best way to do, from my point of view, is to make sure your MDM is SOA compatible. What that means is you should be able to have services which can be exposed via a web service channel, for example, which is the coolest part of SOA, right? So that's what I mean. So the MDM hosts the data, and not only it hosts the data, it also allows that data to be accessible, updated, added, and done, and all the CRUD operations, basically, we say, right? To be able to do that in a web service layer is what it's all about, and it's just very important, right? That's why I call it as a perfect marriage. So I hope that answers your question. We have another question here from Rohan. As per my knowledge, currently one way to load data to MDM is using Clover ETL. Is there any plan by IBM to implement the same APIs to load data in MDM using data stage? That's an excellent question. I think when you say Clover ETL, you're talking about Initiate MDM, right? I think the answer is yes, because Clover ETL is the tool, I think, which came along with the Initiate acquisition we had and used for loading data to the Initiate hub, not actually, I think, to the MDM hub so far, which is usually using a data stage job. So we also had a few years ago, we had a solution called rapid deployment package, right? Now, I don't know if I can talk openly about this anymore, but I don't even know we sell that anymore. But that's the product which had option to load data to MDM server using data state jobs, and it did exactly what a service layer will do, because it was able to validate your data and make sure the integrity references and the data formats and the mandatory conditions and all met, which are what the services will help you do, right? So yes, we did have that, but at this point I don't know. But you may have to contact me offline for that, so I can answer that with the current information we have, right? Thanks for that question, Rohan. I think that's a good question. We have another question. From Rahul Joshi. If an enterprise has multiple level database such that master and such data maintained in a HQ, I suppose it's a headquarter, right, and flows down to branch level, and transactional data flows from branch to the headquarter for consolidation. In this context, how MDM can help for system integration or developer? So that's the question actually centered around how data can flow from a headquarter to a branch and the branch back to headquarter. I presume this is some kind of master data you're talking about, right? So I suppose there are a couple of ways to do that, right? One option is to do a real-time integration where your branch and headquarter are using real-time the transactions or web service enabled transaction, as I discussed some time ago, or use some kind of a batch framework, right? The MDM server, for example, comes with a batch framework which helps you load the data on a nightly basis or on an ad hoc basis also, or multiple times in a day and things like that. So you can use either of those to flow the data between a headquarter and branch and any system. I presume they are kind of different systems, right? So considering that's what the thing you're asking for, yes, you have option to either use a batch mode or more realistically, I think, which is a perfect solution, will be using a real-time web-based web service-based services to do that kind of synchronization. Right. Hope that helps you, Rahul, with what you're asking for.
Well, those were the only questions we had, Mr. Prashad. I'm really thankful.
Cool,
I'm really thankful to you for conducting this webinar. I would also. Pardon. I would also like to thank all our participants for their support in making this webinar a success. The recording of this session would be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great evening.